Why do their belly buttons look like eyeballs? What is that creature? Do you like books? Or rather, do you like collecting and cataloging information? Because I do, and I've gone to a few different lengths in the pursuit of documentation. Recently, in my various sewing and costuming groups, I've seen a decent amount of talk about project planning, though some of it may have sprung from Bernadette's article on Foundation Revealed about her project planner, or project Bible, rather, is what she calls it. I thought I would share with you all my project planning setup. I have a few academic points in game design, and most of it is project planning and organization. And if you know me at all, then you know that those are two of my favorite things. Most, if not all, of these resources that I'm going to show you are free to use, and I will provide links in the description. The first and largest resource I use is Trello. I'm certainly not sponsored by Trello, and there could be other agile project management software out there that better suits your needs, but for me, Trello ticks all of the boxes. Literally. It uses lists and cards to better help you organize. You can name each list to represent a large checkpoint in your project. Mine is separated in the 7 following lists: references, back burner, to do, big 4, in progress, done, and postponed. Yeah, that's 7. Back burner, to do, in progress, done, and postponed swap the different cards between them depending on what stage I'm at in the project. References list I use to remember incredibly specific info about the cards, projects, templates, or learning tools. Big 4 is where I keep my constantly updating cards. I have a general to-do card, a card to keep track of items that will be included in my pattern journal, social media posts that need to be kept up on. In my case, it's just videos and then whatever else I want to post on my website that I don't actually keep up on. And then my stash manager, which is basically an inventory of my current fabric stash. For each project card, I include the project name, a short description, images for inspiration if it's before I begin the project, labels to know what kind of project it is at a glance, checklists when needed, and possibly a due date if it's currently an in-progress card. These project cards, well, all of the cards, except for the big 4 and the reference list that stay in their own nice, neat little column, can be moved around depending on what stage you're in your project. When I realize I've been drooling over tea gowns for the last few days, I can add a card in back burner to one day make that beautiful gown. All the while I can use it to collect information in the activity section of the card, add inspirational photos or patterns for when I'm ready to actually make this garment. When I am actually ready to make the garment, I can move it into in progress and then start ticking off those boxes. Before I started, I labeled it that it's something that needs to be filmed and posted, so before I start construction, I'll know to prepare for that. After the completion of the garment, I can happily move the card over to done. Or quietly and proudly make the decision to move it over to my postponed list, which is basically just my pile of UFOs. Don't be so self-conscious. If this level of project management excites you the way it excites me, then that's great, because I made a public sort of template board that you can have. You do have to make a Trello account, but everything that I use is free. So all you have to do is sign up and then click the link that takes you to my template Trello and then just copy that board onto yours and you can have it. Copying the board is really easy. Just follow the link provided in this video's description to the project planning template. Click Show More at the top right. It'll drop down a menu. Go backwards into the main menu, click the More button, and find Copy Board. Once you click that button, you're given the option to change the board title, which can always be changed again later, and also decide whether you want to keep the lists and cards provided in the template. If you do, keep those toggled on and then click Create. I've included the same list layout as mine and a few template cards in the references. The user interface makes it super easy for you to copy the templates as actual cards, or you can make your own project cards. Okay, that is Trello settled. If by this time you're thinking, wow, Heather really keeps a tight ship, well, you don't even know the half of it. Similar to Bernadette's pattern Bible, I keep a sort of journal of my own. Growing up, I always wanted to be like Evelyn from The Mummy.
It's what first interested me in Egypt when I was a child.
Especially librarian Evelyn. So careful documentation and attention to detail felt like important things to learn. I don't know, man, I'm a weird kid. Not only do I plan my projects step by step on Trello, I also document the process and the materials used in my project planner. On Trello in the project journal card, I outline all the criteria I require for each of the project entries, which include, but not limited to, the completion date, the series, who it's made for, and the item. Well, those things were more or less adapted for Bernadette's project planner. I also include a description of the project and garment, a scaled down grid pattern, a fashion fabric sample, the amount of fabric used per sample, and what type of fabric that sample is. I also keep a list of what projects need to be added to the actual journal. Lastly, like a dutiful librarian, I keep a proper catalog of my fabric stash. This one right here. This is just a basic spreadsheet detailing fabric, color, length, fabric type, where it was purchased, and for how much, any description or useful information, as well as a section to update when it's been used, so any amount that's been taken from it and what for, in order to know how much is left. That's a lot of detail. So while you're sat here thinking that I'm the threadbender equivalent of a Dolores Umbridge, consider the fact that I'm supplying you with all of these wonderful resources. Unless that solidifies your idea of Heather Umbridge and that I'm forcing you to be orderly.
I will have order!
Either way. Evelyn, not Dolores.
You're wondering, what is a place like me doing in a girl like this?
Yeah, something like that.